Hello, this is Noah Hickok presenting the update on the 2020 presidential election if it were held the week of May 10th. Let's get started. So what you'll see on this first map are the states that are completely safe for the Democratic nominee, Joe Biden, and the Republican nominee, Donald Trump. Of course, the Democrats being in blue and the Republicans in red. And you'll notice there are numbers associated with each state. For example, Missouri with the number 10 under it. That shows how many electoral votes are awarded to this state and whichever party gets more votes from its citizens. Now, in addition to those dark blue and dark red states that would go to the Republican or Democrats regardless of how good or bad the nominees are, we have the lighter red and the lighter blue, which are the likely states for these. So for the Democrats, you had Colorado, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and for the Republicans, Texas, Iowa, Ohio, and Georgia. And these could go either way, but it's rather unlikely for this year. In this third map, we have the states that are slightly leaning towards one party or the other. So for the Democrats, we have Nevada, Michigan, New Hampshire, and Maine's 1st congressional district. And for the Republicans, we have only Nebraska's 2nd congressional district. Now you'll notice that Michigan is in a lighter blue than Pennsylvania, even though its polling data goes more towards Joe Biden. However, I've ranked it less towards the Democrats because Joe Biden's home state is Pennsylvania. And lastly, in our fourth map, we have the states that are just tilted towards one party or the other. And these really could be completely different come election day. Now, at this point in the election, we aren't going to see any for the Republicans. We're going to see Arizona, Wisconsin, North Carolina, and Florida, along with Maine's 2nd congressional district for the Democrats, although this could change very easily. So if you've watched elections in the past, you're probably saying to yourself, isn't there a specific system that goes to deciding who our president will be? And looking at the previous maps, you'll notice there are numbers. For example, 55 with California, but we know there's more than 55 people in California, and that explains the Electoral College. So the Electoral College is a system that's been used for voting since the beginning of America, although it is in a different form. So take Kentucky, for example, which has 8 electoral votes. Donald Trump got more votes than Hillary Clinton across the state of Kentucky, so he was rewarded with 8 electoral votes in that case, going towards the 270 that are required to win the presidency. The example about Kentucky is constant throughout every other state in the Union, except for Nebraska and Maine, which count their electoral votes in a different way. Nebraska, for example, has 5 electoral votes, and in 2016, Donald Trump was awarded with 5, but Barack Obama was awarded with 1, and his opponent, late Senator John McCain, was awarded with 4, because there's a catch. The catch with Nebraska and Maine, taking Nebraska for an example again, is that it has its 5 electoral votes, 2 of which are rewarded for winning statewide, getting more votes from Nebraska's citizens. And then there are 3 congressional districts that also give 1 electoral college vote for winning more of its citizens in that respective district. With Nebraska's 3 congressional districts, the 1st and 3rd will almost always go Republican along with the statewide vote. But the 2nd congressional district holds the city of Omaha, and as you can see across the country, cities tend to generally go Democratic and rural areas tend to generally go Republican. So that can mean that, say, Barack Obama in 2008, he won the 2nd congressional district, but Donald Trump won it in 2016. This system is also used in Maine, as previously stated. The statewide vote in its 2 electoral votes will generally go Democratic, and so will its 1st congressional district, but not by as much of a margin. However, its 2nd district is a swing district, so in 2012 and 2008, it went to Barack Obama. But in 2016, it went to Donald Trump. What this means is that if the election were held today, the presidency would most likely be rewarded to Joe Biden. However, this is not at all certain or set in stone. And as you can see from the maps, the 4 states that tilt Democratic are the states that will, in my opinion, completely decide the election, being Wisconsin, Florida, Arizona, and North Carolina. The first of those crucial states we'll be discussing is Wisconsin. Wisconsin has a Democratic governor, a Democratic senator, and a senator who is a member of the Republican Party. The last time that Wisconsin voted Republican was in 1984 for Ronald Reagan, until 2016 when they voted for Donald Trump. This proves how much of a vital Rust Belt vote Wisconsin is as a pure swing state. Second, we have Arizona with 11 electoral votes. Arizona's governor is a Republican, along with one of its U.S. senators, with one of them being Democratic as well. Arizona has a deep history of voting red. However, this year, along with his Senate race, is highly contested and has a chance to go Democratic. Next is North Carolina with 15 electoral votes. North Carolina's governor is a Democrat. Its two senators are both Republican, one of whom is up for re-election in a very contested race. North Carolina has gone back and forth in who it's voted for in their party. It voted for Barack Obama in 2008, Mitt Romney in 2012, and Donald Trump in 2016. It's a very close race for Joe Biden versus Donald Trump. Lastly, we have Florida, with a whopping 29 electoral votes, being the third most populous state in the Union. Florida's governor, along with its two U.S. senators, are Republicans. Florida, however, by all means, is a swing state. Florida voted for George Bush in both of his terms, Barack Obama in both of his terms, and then back to the Republican candidate, Donald Trump. So as shown on the fourth map in this video, each state is tilting towards Joe Biden. Wisconsin by a 1.5% margin, Florida by a 1.2% margin, North Carolina by a 0.7% margin, and Arizona by a 0.4% margin. That goes to show both how much of swing states these states are and how much they can change by the time we get to Election Day in November. So lastly, we have to ask ourselves, how does each of these states play into the election? For Joe Biden's course to victory, assuming all of the likely and leaning states will stay the way they are, he has to win only one of these states. For Donald Trump, assuming things stay the same, and they likely won't, he has to win all four of these states. So currently, Trump has the harder path to victory. So that's going to be all for this first update on the 2020 presidential election. This is by no means a prediction of how it will turn out, but rather an analysis of the data we're taking in and how that would turn out most likely if the election were held today. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you during the next video.